Hey guys, Nick Campanella here from Taylor Timepieces, and today I got something special for you. It's another collector profile breakdown. I know you guys seem to like those. I get emails and texts about how you enjoy them. So on this one, we're going to be talking about another new collector. Here's the deal. Not every watch collector is in it for the flex. Some really just are in it for that friction. And of course, the COSC certifications. Some really like the lug to lug tolerances. And today we're going to be diving into what we like to call the spec junkie. And if it sounds like you or someone you know, stay tuned. I'd love to hear it. So the spec junkie, they aren't driven by hype, they're driven by data. This is a collector that knows the beat error in a Miyota movement, 9015, and they debate the magnetic ratings on Facebook groups. These are the guys that are worried about the QC issues of mass-produced Omega Seamaster 300, and they own a dive watch that had just never seen water, but it could survive the Mariana Trench. These are the guys that are very hypothetical, and they don't buy a watch unless it makes sense on paper. Beauty, I think that's a bonus, but accuracy is king for a lot of these watch guys. Now, you would think that if accuracy was king, you would simply buy a quartz watch. After all, it is more accurate than a modern automatic watch. However, that's not necessarily how these guys like to roll. And when you look into what might be in their watch box, you might have something like a Tudor Pelagos, the FXD. What they like about that one is the titanium case and the COSC certified rating, 200 meters of water resistance, and it is really built like a Volt. They really like Grand Seiko. I find that this collector really likes Grand Seiko. They like the finishing. They like the commitment to accuracy that Seiko has, and it is quartz in a lot of cases when it comes to Grand Seiko, but doesn't necessarily mean basic. The Omega Speedmaster Hesselite might be another piece that they have in their watch box. And reason being is, of course, it's a manual wind, and that heritage piece is cool, but they don't necessarily care about the heritage. They want legit tech. And they might have a Casio G-Shock in the box because they really like the timekeeping. They like the solar-powered engine and the ingenuity of a watch like that. It's something, when you think about Casio, it's something that they can drive over. It's something spec-wise that just makes sense for them. And it might not be the prettiest watch, but it's something that they enjoy. These guys, again, they track accuracy using time graphers, and they know the difference between a real sapphire and, of course, replacement sapphire. They know the years that certain specific models are made, and they probably subscribe to channels that compare rotor efficiency ratios, and they want to get the best bang for their buck. They will ask about frequency all the time. They will ask whether the watch was pressure tested after servicing. It's not usually snobbery when we get these kind of questions. 9 times out of 10, it's passion. They want to know exactly what you're working with. They want to know exactly what the beast is like within the watch. And where are you going to find these guys? In my mind, you find them on Reddit. You find them on What You Seek. You find them in these groups. And they love graphs and charts. The amount of times that guys like this has shown me watch charts, watchcharts.com, to tell me, the trajectory of what they think that the watch value might be. Again, if your listing says, a certain year and it's not, if your listing says, hey, it has a sapphire case back and it doesn't, if your listing says it has a certain water resistance, this is something we come into a lot, and it doesn't, this is something that they will call you out on, and rightfully so in some cases, as long as it's done in a respectful and kind way. And I think honestly, their buying power patterns, they're loyal once they feel that they can trust you. It is something that if you're transparent and educated and precise, they'll come back again and again. And in a lot of cases, they're some of the best buyers when it comes to repeat buyers. They do ask a lot of questions, as you should when you're buying an expensive timepiece, and you don't know all of that. But know that 9 times out of 10, when you sell them a tool watch and you say it performs at, within spec, they're going to catch you on that. And they're going to say, hey, you said spec, as we stated in another video, is plus or minus 6 in most cases. If it's running plus or minus 10, which is generally acceptable for most used watches, for most of the people that I speak to, that just doesn't cut it for them. And that's the type of buyer, that's the type of collector that you're dealing with when you're dealing with these spec junkies. They want to know, hey, what's the lug width? And hey, if I'm buying a new timepiece, is this lug is this band gonna look good on this watch? And they don't want to cut corners. And in a certain sense, I think that's really respectable and that's really admirable. Again, they are a client that is hard to earn their business, but once you earn their business, they're a client for a very long time. And that just, from a seller perspective, not only from a collector perspective, where I think. So again, these are just our opinions, but I would ask you, are you a spec junkie? Do you know somebody who is? Drop something in the comments. I would love to hear your answers. And again, if you have some loom shots to show me in typical spec junkie fashion, please let me know, and I'd love to see it. Thanks so much for the time. Catch you in the next one.